Ready to explore how climate change is reshaping our world and how GIS can help us respond? Let's dive into the economic and infrastructural challenges and discover smart, data-driven solutions. Climate change is no longer a distant threat. It's actively disrupting economies worldwide. Extreme weather events such as hurricanes, floods, droughts, and wildfires are becoming more frequent and intense due to rising global temperatures. These events lead to significant financial losses by damaging infrastructure, homes, and transportation networks. Insurance companies face growing claims, increasing premiums, and straining public and private budgets. The agricultural sector is particularly vulnerable. Prolonged droughts reduce crop yields and lead to food insecurity, while floods can wipe out entire harvests. In developing countries, where agriculture often forms the backbone of the economy, such disruptions can push communities further into poverty. Globally, supply chain interruptions lead to higher food prices and economic instability. Businesses and workers are also affected. Heat waves can reduce worker productivity, especially in outdoor or poorly ventilated environments. Tourism industries suffer when natural attractions are degraded or extreme weather discourages travel. Coastal cities, which are economic hubs, face growing threats from sea level rise and storm surges, forcing expensive investments in adaptation and protection. Global supply chains are increasingly vulnerable to climate-related disruptions. Extreme weather events can halt production, damage transportation networks, and delay shipments. This can lead to shortages, price increases, and economic instability. Our infrastructure is increasingly at risk from climate change impacts. Rising sea levels, extreme weather events, and changing precipitation patterns can damage roads, bridges, buildings, and other critical infrastructure. This damage can lead to costly repairs, disruptions in services, and safety hazards. Climate change is exacerbating the strain on our energy systems. Increased temperatures lead to higher demand for cooling, putting pressure on electricity grids. Extreme weather events can also damage energy infrastructure, causing power outages and disruptions. Furthermore, climate-related migration and health crises are rising. Displaced populations place pressure on infrastructure, housing, and public services in receiving regions. Meanwhile, climate-sensitive diseases like malaria and dengue fever are expanding into new areas, burdening healthcare systems. The costs associated with disaster relief, infrastructure repair, and lost productivity are substantial. Small businesses and vulnerable communities often bear the brunt of these economic shocks. Understanding these economic vulnerabilities is crucial for effective planning and resilience. In short, climate change is not just an environmental issue, it's a systemic economic risk. It demands coordinated global action to reduce emissions, invest in adaptation strategies, and transition to a more sustainable, resilient economy. Investing in climate-resilient infrastructure is essential for protecting communities and economies. GIS can play a vital role in assessing infrastructure vulnerability and planning for climate-resilient upgrades. Furthermore, the transition to renewable energy sources requires significant investment and infrastructure development. Balancing energy demand with sustainable energy solutions is a critical challenge. GIS can help optimize the placement and management of renewable energy infrastructure. GIS can be used to map vulnerable areas, analyze climate data, and model potential future scenarios. This information can inform decision-making and guide investments in climate resilience. By integrating climate data with economic and infrastructure data, GIS can help identify areas most at risk. This allows for targeted interventions and the development of effective adaptation strategies. GIS empowers us to visualize, analyze, and address the complex challenges of climate change. Ready to empower your students with the knowledge and skills to address climate change? Explore the GIS-T lesson plans, integrate climate change data into your curriculum, and encourage students to use GIS to analyze local impacts. Let's work together to build a more sustainable and equitable future.